So I just paused because I was trying to find out if my son was going to play. My son is part of the flute section. And so, yeah, they said they about to play. Just the flute section itself. So I got to capture that for my wife. So.
I got 200 looking for 225. Got a $200 looking for 225. 200 roll once.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to save that. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to extend what these wonderful women have done. Like I told you. That woman, her name is Miss Samuels. From St. Thomas. From St. Lucia. The other queen that is raising my son over here, her name is Miss Thomas. She's also from St. Lucia.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's Thanksgiving up for bid.
And then my mother, Mom Suarez, raised all of my children here in Orlando, Florida, at Mount Sinai. And so this final battle of the ages, came to a head when I moved to Orlando. This battle of the ages. When I moved to Orlando, these women were in the same hood that I was in. Miss Samuels, who is the director of the school here, who is the principal of the school here, she was in Pine Hills. Miss Thomas, they were in the school in Pine Hills.
Looking for a $100 bid.
Pine Hills is the absolute bottom rung of the bottom rung of Orlando, Florida.
We got a $75 bid. Can I get a 100? I got a $75 bidder here. Someone want to give me 100. Someone want to give me 100. We got 100.
The bottom rung of the bottom rung of Florida, period. Not just Orlando. Pine Hills is the bottom rung of the bottom rung. These women was over there teaching music.
125. We got a 150 here.
These women, their legacy of taking music
we got a 175 for 200. We got a 175
and training the best choirs in this so-called Florida Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. The funniest thing in the world is the only entity that still has Jim Crow present day is the Seventh-day Adventist Church. They still got colored drinking fountains, colored worship conferences. They still got colored worship conferences. If you are colored, if you the people that our ancestors lynched, you go worship in the Allegheny East Conference. If you are descendants of the people that our ancestors hung from trees, you go worship in the Northeastern Conference. But if you're European, if you claim England, and if you claim the dragon speaking lamb like beast, then we got a New Jersey conference for you. We got a Florida conference for you. And it's funny because all of my pops' right hand men are presidents managing this Jim Crow, dragon speaking, lamb like beast, false prophet legacy. The Church of Jesus Christ and the Latter-day Saints used to be the longest public entity publicly telling a lie that Ham was cursed. So all people of color are cursed. And so the the Muslims, black and white and tan and olive and everything from the East, they all justify their treatment of the least of these our brethren based off of the doctrine of the Church of Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints taught that Ham was cursed. Now you find the passage where Canaan, Noah, a curse, a curse was given out. And the curse was given out because of a sexual assault. Not on Moses, but on not on Noah, but on Noah's wife, who was laying in her bed naked. And her son went out to get his brothers to go run a train on their mama. And the other brothers, instead of coming in and running the train on the mama, they came and walked in backwards, and then they covered their mama with the blanket. We know it was the mama because Noah was at the altar worshiping God because God had allowed all of the waters to reside. And it says Noah, the moment that the waters resided, he had a wedding party with his bride. The same event that the Messiah did when he turned the water into wine. It's called the first fruit blessing. Anytime you come into the land, it says, Noah, you were perfect. God already said Noah was perfect. And God had already said that Noah was a husbandman, and his profession, he was a doctor in making wine. So as soon as he had access to the soil, and soon they had been through the flood. So the worship service was not with his children. He took his wife and he blessed his wife physically, so much so that she was in a coma. And it says her son came in and saw how beautiful she was. And because before the flood, the people who were destroyed before the flood came, and his children, it's called incest. It's called rape. It's called sexual assault. That's why God destroyed them. And so because all while they were building the ark for 120 years, while their father was preaching, the people were having the orgies of incest and rape and murdering and killing, all in the presence of Ham. Noah's children witnessed the same thing that Nimrod did after the flood is what they did before the flood, and that's why they died. And so the moment that he saw his mama's nakedness, because when by beholding you will become changed. That's what the word says. But the reason that Ham could not be cursed is because Ham is the father of Cush. Ham is the father And his bride was the bride of the birthright. So his bride covered him. And that wasn't his true spirit. That was just an imagination that came into his head, and he verbalized it, and his other brothers chastised him. And if it was his true desire, that he would have went in there and raped her himself. But he accepted the chastisement of his brothers. He humbled himself. It was a thought. It was an imagination. He didn't take action. They didn't take action. But the child who personified that for years and years and years to come, because Noah lived 360 years after the flood, and the family annually came back and had that wedding feast that he performed. And so every year when they come back, the reports would come back that Canaan is engaging in the same things that they did before the flood. They were called antediluvians. The antediluvians. Cain was an antediluvian. Canaan was the antediluvian after the flood, engaging in incest, engaging in rape, engaging in, if there was a woman, it didn't matter if it was his daughter, his auntie, his whatever, whatever. If he wanted to have sex with her, he was taking it. And so the curse in Genesis chapter 10 is on Canaan. So you tell me how up into the 70s, Governor Mitt, Mitt Romney, who ran for president as a Republican. This is the U.S. Washington, D.C. system. His father and Mitt Romney, to this present day Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saint Mormons, all the way up to 76 when my parents went down to Oakwood, publicly, openly, they taught black people couldn't enter their priesthood. They were below because Ham was cursed. They taught the doctrine. Even in the U.S., fulfilling the dragon speaking lamb like beast. Everybody in the East, all of they don't have no economy because they cursed. So they have engaged in slave trades. But for them to come to the land flowing with milk and honey and bring those doctrines, it's only because it was a fulfillment of prophecy. So publicly, the Church of Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints, the Mormons, they were the dragon part of publicly, physically stating it. But the Seventh-day Adventist Church, they are the entity whose churches are still divided. The Methodists are still are divided like that too. You got the AME Zion Methodists and the regular Methodists. But the Seventh-day Adventist Church all throughout the country, I'll give you an example. In Tennessee, you got a university called Southern University. And right across the border in Alabama, you got Oakwood. And you have one of my pop's right-hand men who came down here to Tampa when we came down here to Tampa. Then he pops up in Orlando. When we here in Orlando, he pops up over Advent Health. His name is Ron Smith. He used to be up in New York. So Ron Smith is the Union president. Union? The Confederates fought for the Union. He's a Union president. The Union is the Confederates. The Confederates is the KKK. Ron Smith a union president, and he got the union divided between colored conferences, and Oakwood is the university in the colored conference right here in Mount Dora. And then right on I-4, they had the headquarters of the Florida Conference, which is the white conference. So right up the same street, they got the colored separated. And then Ron Smith, a person of color, it ain't about the physical. Understand there's a physical mark of the beast and there's a spiritual mark of the beast. So these people of color who violate God's law spiritually, they have the spiritual mark of the beast. And so this time of trouble that my family has witnessed since I've been down here has been a result of them knowing publicly since 1993. I was telling them to their face, to their presidents, President Cheatham, all of them. I was telling them to their face, to their pastors who was preachers. I was telling their pastors, James Sutton was the pastor who was teaching us religion. And I told James Sutton exactly what's going on. So they knew from 1993 that it's on when it come to me and them. And so in the book that I'm about to give y'all, there's a chapter called The Time of Jacob's Trouble. And understand it's based off of the Jacob wrestled with God and prevailed. It says Jacob was able to wrestle with God and man and prevail. But more importantly, Jacob's ladder represents there's parallel lines sideways. You don't get to go to the kingdom if you only go from east to west. Cain and Cain's children only go from east to west. Sodom and Gomorrah, they could only go from east to west. And it's a never-ending cycle from east to west, back and forth, parallel lines. Y'all call it latitude. No, yeah, latitude. But then there's two ladders that go up and down, and Michael's angels was coming up and down, getting people up and down, up and down, up and down, going up with those who was going to the kingdom, coming down to get another load, up and down. We ain't on no parallel lines. We going up and down. So I'm going to begin to take y'all through the last 8 chapters like I told y'all I was going to do. And I'm going to expose, like I've been doing, and I'm going to finish everything that I told y'all I was going to do. Now y'all done woke the Lion King up. And they all hiding in the shadows around this school right here. Because my son at this school. All of them individuals. All of them individuals. It's a whole group of them that graduated with my father, Frank Leggett III. And the fact that there has been no public declaration, and the fact that there has been no public declaration of enmity speaks louder than anything. The fact that there has never ever been a public response is a response. The fact, because I'm going to tell you something right now. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. All of y'all people, all of y'all people
275 going once.
It don't matter where you from. In Adventism, out of Adventism,
Basketball coaches, $300 bill.
in the closet, waging war against me, or in the public.
Basketball coaches, $300 bill going once.
Because of what y'all tried to do at my son's school, what y'all tried to take away from my son here at this institution, this goes to all of y'all. What y'all tried to take from my son, from this institution, because I declared what I was going to do to all of y'all and all of those satanic brotherhoods and sisterhoods that y'all love, now you about to get double. Now you about to get double. And everything that was in place at Mount Sinai, this goes to Robert Henley. This goes to Robert Henley. Robert Henley. Robert Henley. For you to play this game, with my son, for you to play this game down at Oakwood University in 2024 at graduation, when I told you exactly what plans I had in place and what things I had in place. And I told you exactly what I was going to bring to this school right here. And for you to be offering an innovation lab to any of these European schools and churches, and then when we line it up for you to do it here, for you to play around all year last year, there's something called the RICO. There's something called the RICO. Al Capone was taken down with the RICO. It's when a criminal organization participates in a crime, everybody in the organization goes down. Everybody that participates. It goes to Pete Carnegie. This goes to Pete Carnegie at the Celebration, Seventh-day Adventist Church. This goes to Pete Carnegie. All of y'all that tried to come to Mount Sinai, when y'all heard what we was giving to Mount Sinai when we moved down here, y'all wasn't down at Mount Sinai when we came down here in 05. But when we come down here in 05, and from 05 to 09, then now all of a sudden, there's a Pete Carnegie over there. Now all of a sudden, there's a Robert Henley over there. Now all of a sudden, there's a Betty Nugent over there. Now all of a sudden, Miss Cowan is out and Miss Tony Drummond is in. And her brother AJ. When we first got down here, Brian McKinney with his flunky brother Anthony McKinney. And then Miss Cargill got a nerve to show up with Betty Nugent this year at my son's school. Miss Cargill, you been down here all this time on this garbage? Miss Cargill, you gonna show up with Betty Nugent? This the same group of people, yo. It's the same group of people that as soon as we brought E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher in 2009, we brought Break the Cycle, and we brought this, and we brought the Paramore Kids Zone and Tony Shin and all of this. Yo, Tony Shin gone. Everybody who was on the team, Miss Cowan gone. Sharita Bishop, brain injuries. My sister Audra Wells found dead, mysteriously dead in the car. Quiet as kept. Dee Dee Mosley had the same diagnosis as my big cousin, Dollar Bill, his wife, Jen Dollar. Same lesions on her brain. Same exact lesions on her brain. The only thing different between Dollar Bill and Jen Dollar is E.T. had put himself in position and he had great insurance, and he had put himself in position, and his wife worked in the nursing field and profession. So when the medical condition came down with Dee Dee, of course, is already on top because she's a high level medical professional. But because of the health message that we gave to the world, my sister Jen Dollar should still be here. Because based off of the Seventh-day Adventists, if y'all was doing your job, Dollar Bill would have had the same exact information and could have put his bride in a position to do what E.T. and Dee Dee have done. And for all of these individuals to be playing these games, and it's the same pattern every time. So it's connected to the original bigotry and hatred that was involved when they wanted to make sure that the people in the lowest rung did not get the health message that Ellen White, William Foy, and his wife tried to give to the people. And it's documented that in 1888, Ellen White went to a camp meeting and talked about the Southern strategy and the problem of the bigotry and racism of them talking about. She exposed that they was the dragon speaking lamb like beast in 1888 at a camp meeting. Like how y'all don't want to go down into the South to the poorest people when y'all claiming y'all the remnant. Y'all claiming y'all got the truth. And you know what they did? They like, we got this. Remember, they was having a hard time back in them days surviving. This is the height of 1880, 1865. They like, these people got a health message that will allow us to stay in this land and take these lands. Man, listen, we not letting people in the South, we not letting nobody get this. We gonna sit down and study what this man is talking about. We gonna take it and we gonna monetize it. And then they created big pharma. They created big pharma, and they give the people poison. Loma Linda included, Advent Health included, all of these hospital systems. Can you use medicine and pills to stabilize your chronic illness and give your body time to heal itself and get off of the medication? Yes, you could do that. Yes, you could do that. But to put in a $1 trillion industry, a never-ending $1 trillion industry of sickness and death, that's what y'all got to pay for. And anybody and everybody that's silent, anybody and everybody that is not choosing a side, you have chosen your side. It says acquiescence. Acquiescence says you give your approvals, your silence. All of y'all theologians that like definitions, acquiescence is when you silently sit by. You have given your approval. So after all of these years, while I've been doing what I'm doing, if you are sitting back this is Mount Carmel. And the reason that this hurts my pops the most is because he declared that God revealed to him the Elijah motif. And the Elijah motif was a declaration yo, I'ma go and I'ma bring the decision to choose. And so when he said it, I'm like, word. I've been on the Elijah moment. I've been on the Elijah motif. Let's do it. I'm like, I'm thinking, yo, he's signing up. We are already declared I'm an alien in this nation. We wage war spiritually in the battle of Armageddon. So when he said the Elijah motif, I'm like, yo, word. Pops is enlisting. So I continued the Elijah motif. What's the Elijah motif? It was a showdown at Mount Carmel. Choose ye this day. The whole nation had to choose on the spot. And it was a supernatural battle. Just like Jacob, the time of Jacob's trouble. Jacob wrestled with God and prevailed supernaturally. So Elijah came and said, let's have a supernatural battle. If Baal that y'all worshiping, and y'all, yo, Christmas is coming up. Christmas is Baal worship. Christmas is Baal worship. Christmas is Baal worship. It's the worship of Osiris. It's the worship of Jupiter. Every single male pagan god and one female pagan god. Miss Santa Claus, Gog and Magog. So I did the Elijah motif by myself. Or maybe I was so wrapped up in my Elijah motif that I didn't see other people's Elijah motif. So that's the one little benefit of the doubt that I'm gonna put out there. But from this day forward, ain't no silence, ain't no in the closet, ain't no nothing. It's public declaration. It's public declaration. Choose ye this day whom you will serve. If you on Baal's side, if the desires of your heart is to worship Baal, make it known. And then we gonna prove to you that Baal ain't nothing, and all of those who worship Baal ain't nothing. And we're going to show you that the God that we worship is the only one and only exclusive true God. And that is the opposite of what Freemasonry teaches. That is the opposite of what Donald Trump has publicly said. Donald Trump is promoting Freemasonry. So all of y'all in the closet, Freemasons and all that, yes, you got to declare. You have to come out. This is the call to come out of all of those folds of faith and publicly declare, are you, like Lot's wife, going to hold on to the desires, or are you going to let it go and receive transformation and transfiguration? And you have to declare publicly every day, right now. This is what the time of Jacob's trouble is. Or you got to physically. The time of Jacob's trouble is Jacob had robbed his brother. He stole his brother's first fruit blessing, his wealth. He already had the spiritual birthright blessing because his mother blessed him. But his dad was blessing his brother Esau. And the blessing of his dad was the tangible wealth of the family. He already had the spiritual wealth of the family, the spiritual covenant, because his mother carried that. But he wanted both. He wanted his father's physical, tangible wealth. And so he tricked his brother into giving up his tangible family wealth. And so God took everything from Jacob. He didn't have physical wealth and he didn't have his bride. The bride that he thought he was supposed to have, he didn't get. He was deceived. And all his life, it haunted Jacob. Even when he wrestled with God and prevailed, God touched him on his hip and made him a lame. He had to live with the scar, and he had to live with the wrong wife. He got his wife that he desired, but then she died early. Even though he wrestled with God and prevailed, all of these were debts that he had to pay. But the reason he prevailed with God was because the desire to rob his brother, he had let it go. The sin that he had violated. See, you can violate once, many times. But when God calls you to give up that thing, when you still desire to go back to that thing, that is called lawlessness. A transgression of the law is a one-time slip up. And then when God chastises you for it, and you're going to pay, you going to, oh, you want to rob your brother? Okay, you're going to pay. And the things in my life that I did, that I gave up, the affliction in my body, the many things that I've had to endure, and am still enduring, just like Jacob. But the sin, when my wife raised the bar and told me, this ain't what I signed up for. We went down a list, and each and every one of them things we let go. And then me and my youngest son and my daughter Destiny and my nephew Keyshawn, I've been taking other people's babies that I have made my own baby. And when in 2018, when I hit the streets, it, my son Damon, my daughter Destiny, and Keyshawn hit the streets with Ray of Light Advent Ministry. And when we needed to go into the house and get young people to come out to sing in the choir, yep, sing in the choir, I took Destiny and Damon and Keyshawn. Cause when you want to go sign up some kids, the best instrument to sign up kids is kids. So I'm about to take my grown kids and my 13-year-old, and we about to go get all of these kids, and we're gonna teach them how to worship and how to get to the kingdom, and how to wrestle with God and prevail, and how to give God the desires of their heart, and how to give up transgressions, like my wife challenged me to do. And if it's one thing that I don't mind doing, it's going higher and higher. We'll never go side to side in parallel. We always going higher and higher. So we always gonna get to the kingdom. And so me and those children, after we went and we got the children of the community to come and be a part of Ray of Light, we all rededicated and consecrated our lives, and we all got baptized, myself included. Keyshawn, Destiny, Little Damon, and myself, we all gave up the cherished transgressions that we have been wrestling with up until then. This is 2018, just before COVID. This is right after I came out of a coma, a year after. And then 2 years later, me and my son, little Damon, we on lockdown through COVID. My daughter Destiny was up in Pine Forge Academy. My daughter Deja was in college. My son Xavier went back to Oakwood. My daughter was in DC. And it was just me and my little son every day through COVID, online. And the whole world changed 2020 up until now. And after COVID came back and after we came back online, the school system was different. And then I walked into this school, seen Mom S.T.R.E.A.M.S from Mount Sinai. Mama S.T.R.E.A.M S was there when all of the snakes came to Mount Sinai. And Mom S.T.R.E.A.M S was another one that they ran out of there. So we have the greatest inner city workers in Orlando here at this school right here. Two from Palm Hills, Mom S.T.R.E.A.M S from Mount Sinai.
How you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
It's good to see you. Yeah. Um, Tell your husband I said hello. That's my man.
Oh, my husband passed away in August.
Oh.
Thank you. Yeah.
Can I please give you a hug? Man.
It takes us an hour to get. Well, there's an apartment. It takes us to the class.
Yeah.